Hey everybody, today is Mental Health Tuesday, and every Tuesday I like to come on and talk about something that could possibly improve our mental health. So today we're going to talk a little bit, and we're going to ask the question of why is it so difficult for us to ask other people for help? Why do you think that is? Why do you think we have such a hard time asking people for help? So we're going to cover that today. And even during a pandemic, asking for help is even hard for some of us. We've been put in such uncomfortable and just hard times, right? We all have been impacted some way by the COVID-19. Then we just had a winter storm, and a lot of people were affected. There were people who didn't have lights, didn't have water, didn't have any of the things that we sometimes take for granted. Everybody has been in some sort of uncomfortable position, no matter who you are, right? So why? Why do we have a hard time? Even when we know we're in a tough situation and we're struggling, why do we have a hard time asking for help? Um, so I think that we are taught to be independent. I think that growing up, we're taught to fend for ourselves. Um, if you grew up in a, I want to make sure I say this the right way, but when you grow up in a very harsh environment, sometimes you're taught, don't go asking for help. Don't go telling anybody about what's going on in our house. Uh, don't ask for food. If you're going to go visit somewhere, you don't ask for food. You don't accept the offer for food. You know what I mean? You're taught that we don't need help. We already have enough and we don't want to be a burden. And I know that a lot of you who are watching me can agree with me that you are taught as a child that you don't ask for help. We're good. We don't need nobody in our business. So, number one, we're taught from a very early age to be independent minded. There's nothing wrong with that. But here's something that I want to kind of put in your ear. We're really not independent if you really want to think about it, because think about all of the things or people we had to go through in order to have what we have. You got to have a post office. You got to have a realtor. You got to have all these little different things that we take for granted. Um, let's just say, for instance, like a plumber. If something happens to like your pipes, your pipes might have busted during the winter storm in Texas. You needed to call a plumber, didn't you, to come out and fix it? We're not really. I wouldn't say that we are just independent, because we need each other. If that makes sense, we all need each other, and I think we saw that even during this pandemic. We've had to count on one another a lot, you know, and even during the winter storm, it was just so amazing seeing how my neighbors and those in my community, people in Texas, they went out and became like superheroes overnight. They were people who were giving away food from their restaurants. There were people who were giving away boxes of food, water. Just it was just amazing how we came together as a people. It was just amazing. It wasn't about where you lived, how much money you had. We all needed to help each other, and we did that. And so I think for me, that shows that we think that we are, oh, I got everything together. I don't need nobody's help. Yes, you do. We all need somebody at some point in your life, somebody. And so I think that when we talk about mental health, sometimes we need help even with our thoughts. We may be going through depression. We may be going through anxiety. And because of that pride, because that's what it is, that pride tells us, no, don't ask for help because you don't want people to know you have a problem. No, don't tell sister so and so that you're dealing with postpartum depression. Don't tell anybody. Don't talk to your pastor. Don't talk to the counselor. Don't talk to your parents. Pride gets in the way, and we really miss out on blessings because of that pride, right? And we miss out on getting mental healing because we don't want to talk about what's going on in our minds. So, number one, we're taught to be independent. Number two, asking for help makes us feel uncomfortable and not in control. So we tend to feel like we're losing control because we're being honest about our position in life, in that present moment. We feel like if we ask somebody for help, then we're losing control of that issue, and we don't have it together. And then it goes back to, maybe I'm not independent, and nobody wants to feel like they are a burden. And so we start to feel like, oh, we feel uncomfortable because now someone knows that we're going through, and we don't want people to know that, again, because we want everybody to think that we're independent and that we have everything under control. Number three, we also don't want to be seen as a needy person. We don't want to be a burden on people, right? We don't want to be that person that says, "Oh, can you help me? I don't have money. I don't have this. I don't have that. Can you just spare this or spare that?" I mean, think about it. Just think about how some people view homeless people who ask for money on the streets. I've heard some very ugly things. I've heard people say some very mean things about people. Yes, there are people out there who do what they do, and they already have big homes and nice cars, but they're out there just trying to get more just because they can. I've actually talked to a person like that. I talked to a lady. It was a while back, and she was telling me about how her and her boyfriend used to pose as being homeless, but they weren't even homeless. They were just doing it for the fun of it. And she regretted it. She was very, very, sorry for that very immature decision. But she said they would stand out in the rain, and they would act that they knew that if they stood out in the rain, it would make people feel sorry for them and give them money. So, there are people out there who do that, but not everybody is doing that. So the reason why I brought that up is because you got to look at the fact how we look at people who are less fortunate. We feel like they're a burden. Oh, they always out on the corner. Why don't they just go get a job? You also have to consider the fact that when you're homeless and you don't have land, you don't have a home, when you fill out job applications, you have to have a cell phone, you got to have a telephone number, you have to have a home address. And a lot of those people don't even have any family. Sometimes they don't even talk to their family, or they've just been rejected. So you have to think about that. You don't know what the circumstance may be. And because of that, we don't like to ask for help because we don't want people to look at us the same way. Oh, yes, let that sink in. We don't want people to look at us as being homeless or out of control or weak. Um, all of those things. We don't want to be seen as needy. Okay, so somehow we've interpreted asking for help as being shameful. How did we get to that point? How did we get to that point? We interpret asking for help as being shameful. Why do we think it's shameful to ask for help? If you're in need, why would it be wrong to ask? Why would it be wrong to ask? I also fear being rejected. Nobody wants to hear someone say, "No, I'm not giving you anything. I don't have it." Right? It kind of hurts your feelings a little bit. And so you get afraid, you're kind of scared. It's like, "Oh my goodness, they're gonna say no, or they're gonna think that I don't have my life together." But some of us have really seriously missed out on opportunities to be blessed because of pride and because of our thoughts. We just totally missed out on an opportunity to receive a blessing because we were fearful that the people or whoever was going to reject us and tell us no, right? So how do we learn how to not be ashamed to ask for help when we need it? When you've done all that you can do and nothing seems to be working, you're not working, you're out of money, you have children to raise, you maybe you lost your loved one, your husband or your wife, and now you have to take care and raise these children by yourself, and you are in desperate need. You are in desperate need for help. How do we move from a place of being ashamed to a place of being, you know what, it's okay to ask for help? It doesn't change who I am. It doesn't mean that I'm a weak woman. It doesn't mean that I'm not taking care of my children. It doesn't mean that I'm a bad father. I just need help right now. And I've tried everything that I could do, and it's nothing seems to be working. I'm at wit's end. So here's your solution. You got to reach out to people that you know you could trust. If you're having panic attacks, anxiety, depression, what do? Do you sit there and pretend like you're not thinking about suicide? Oh, yes, because depression can get so bad that it will have you thinking about these things. And that's not good. To be sitting at home by yourself and contemplating these things is not good. What do? You get up and you try to reach the closest counselor that you can that's in your area, and you get up and you find someone that you can talk to, or maybe you feel more comfortable talking with your pastor. That is perfectly fine. There are some pastors who have degrees in counseling, or they have certificates. That is perfectly fine, as long as you do something, and you know that you can trust a counselor, you know that you can trust your pastor, you know that you can trust your close friend, because you know that there's some type of sort of that's going to be confidential. You know that they're not going to go out and tell your business, right? You know that whatever it is that you need, it stays there. So reach out to people that you know you can confide in and that you can trust, and also develop a relationship with the people that you are going to ask for help. Now, the reason why I say that, because it helps it to not be so awkward. When you have a relationship with these people, it's easier for you to ask. Now, there's going to be times in your life when you're going to have to confide or ask people for help that you don't really know that well, but you're just in a bind. And even then, it's fine, But if you can, make sure you know them. Make sure you say hello every once in a while. Make sure you talk to them, because it makes it less awkward, because you've already established a relationship with them. So there are ways that we can, get through this pandemic and the recent after effects of the winter storm. We just have to be willing to let go of the pride and be honest with ourselves first. We have to be honest with us, right? I need help, and I've got to move the pride out of the way and be honest with myself. I have a problem. I don't like to ask for help because I don't want to feel like I don't have my life in control. Well, there's nothing wrong with you, and there's nothing wrong with asking for help. So thank you guys for watching, and I hope that you enjoyed this video. I hope that it was very informative. It really honestly spoke to me as well, because I used to be like that. I didn't like to ask for help because I didn't want to seem like I didn't have my life together. But I know definitely I missed out on a lot of opportunities for a person to be a blessing to me. But trust me, life has taught me, you don't want life to have to teach you, because life will teach you and you're going to fall down on your butt and you're going to be like, how did I get here? And then, then you're going to realize, because of my pride, I wouldn't have been this far down if I had just asked for help. And so, you don't want to get that far down. But for some of us, we have to, because we have to learn. So Anywho, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please let me know, comment, like, subscribe. God bless you all. Until next time, be safe and be cautious. Wear your mask. Please wear your mask. We want life to be normal again. We want life to be normal again. If you see someone in need, please extend a helping hand. If you see someone on the corner and they're, look like they've been dirty for days, they don't have no food, or they're asking for money or just a piece of bread, please be kind and do it if you can. God bless you all.